Hi parents, and welcome to our virtual open house for Miss Keller's first grade class for the 2021-2022 school year. My name is Jency Keller, and I am so excited to be your child's first grade teacher this year. Here is a little bit about me. I'm originally from a very small country town on the outskirts of Lafayette. It's about 40 minutes south of Lafayette. It's called St. Martinville. I got married last summer. Yes, I know, in the middle of a pandemic. It was crazy, but we made it work. After I got married, I moved here to Ascension Parish, and I am loving every second of it. I graduated from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, where I majored in elementary education, which means I am certified to teach grades 1st through 5th. This is my 4th year of teaching. After I graduated, I taught 2nd grade for a year before moving down to 1st, which is where I've been ever since. 1st grade is my happy place. It has my heart. In my opinion, it's the best grade to teach. I also student taught 1st grade. So needless to say, 1st grade has my heart completely. After getting married last summer and moving to Gonzales, I became a long-term substitute teacher at Prairieville Primary, subbing in grades kindergarten, 2nd, and 4th. So getting married in the middle of a pandemic was not something that we ever imagined, but that was what was going on at the time. By the time we finally decided to move forward with our original plans and have our wedding, it was way too late in the summer to find a permanent position, which is why I spent last school year subbing at PVP, which I enjoyed. It was such a great experience. But needless to say, I am so excited to be back in 1st grade and be back into a classroom of my own. So here are some of our class rules. Number 1, follow directions, which is very important. 2, stay in your assigned area. 3, keep your hands and feet to yourself. And 4, respect self and others. I tell them daily that we're all friends, we're all kind, so being respectful is something that I really stress in my classroom. Something that you might hear your children talking about is our Lion Loot reward system, which is something that is school-wide. I know they did it last year in kindergarten. We are continuing it in 1st grade, except this year their Lion Loot is orange. Lion Loot is earned when they follow the rules, when they're caught doing something good. It can be given by me or other teachers. I know a few of our kiddos got some Lion Loot from holding the door open for some of their friends. So you can get Lion Loot for many different things. We have a cash-in day that will happen every 2 weeks or so. 1st grade has not participated in a cash-in day just yet. It will be taking place in a few weeks. I believe it's the 1st or 2nd week of September. So be on the lookout for a little cash-in menu that I will be sending home that your child gets to pick which cash-in menu item they want to pay their Lion Loot for. Each week on Fridays, I allow them to pick out of my classroom treasure chest. The only way they can do that, though, is if they have an A in conduct every single day. This could be an A or an A-. This is just a little extra tool to use to try to motivate them to stay on the right track and to be coming home with A's in conduct. So speaking of conduct, this is our class clip chart system. It is what we use to keep track of their behavior. All students start their day off on an A, which is the purple great job. They get 2 warnings. If they're doing something they're not supposed to, they get 2 chances to fix it. If they don't fix it, by the time they have to move their clip, it's on their 3rd chance. So they have basically 3 chances to fix it. If they don't fix it, they do have to move their clip. But, like I tell them every day, they do have the chance to move their clip back up. If they are making bad choices in the morning, but they fix it and have a fantastic afternoon, I will let them move their clip back up. So they do have that opportunity. Each night in your child's binder, there is a red conduct booklet that has calendars in it for each day of the week. That is where your child's conduct can be found. It is very important that you review your child's conduct grade every night and initial under the grade. Please reinforce the importance of good conduct in school. That is the only way your child will be successful. If they're acting silly and they're not on task, they will not be successful. We have to keep them on the right track and try to keep them focused in class. Speaking of their binders, this is where you can find all of your child's homework, their behavior calendars, any important papers. Basically, everything is located inside their binders. This is a brief breakdown of their pockets. The first pocket is the mailbox pocket. This is used for anything that's important for me or for you. If you have something that needs to be sent to me, that is where it needs to be put into the mailbox pocket. Number 2, keep at home pocket. This pocket is basically what it sounds like, anything that needs to stay at home. Any work that we complete in class, any handout flyers that I need to give to you, that is where it goes. The 3rd pocket is the homework pocket. Any homework that comes home is going to be located in this pocket. Also, the math homework that you are working on with your child in the workbook can be ripped out and placed in this pocket as well to be sent back to school to me. The fourth pocket is the sight words pocket. This pocket is very important because any of the sight words that we learn in class is put in a little Ziploc bag that goes in this pocket. These should be practiced each night. This is just a brief overview of our daily schedule. So we start off the morning with interventions and breakfast. Interventions is the time when I pull kiddos that might be struggling with certain concepts that we're learning in class. After interventions and breakfast are over, we begin our day with math. Then we move into skills, and then we have a little break. We have recess. Normally, we try to go out a few minutes early before recess. That way they have extra time to eat their snacks. When we come in from recess, we continue with skills, and then we move into our comprehension block. Our comprehension block consists of guidebooks and social living. It alternates every few weeks. We take a break from our comprehension block, and we go to lunch around 12:15. When we return from lunch, we continue and finish up with our comprehension block and move into guided reading. We haven't quite started guided reading just yet. We're still working on all of our routines and procedures with our other subjects, but when we start guided reading time, that is when I will pull small groups of kids to work on their individual reading levels. It will also be a time that we work on computers and center time as well. Around 2 o'clock is when we begin packing up, because at the end of the day from 2:15 to 3:15 is when we have enrichment. Enrichment consists of art, PE, and music, which alternates each week. Then when your kids come back from PE, music, or art is when we start dismissing. Also, we started library last Thursday, which the kids were so excited to get to go to library. They've never been to library before because last year I know it was kind of closed, but this year they get to go and they're so excited. So our library time is on Thursday from 11:30 to 12. So this is a brief breakdown of how we start our day. When students come into the classroom, they eat their breakfast. So they go into the cafeteria first, grab their breakfast, and come eat it in the classroom. For lunch, we do eat in the cafeteria, but breakfast is eaten in our classroom. Once they finish their breakfast, your child then checks their binder for anything that needs to be turned into me, which can be found in the mailbox pocket. I personally do not go around and check every single person's binder, so it is important that you make sure your child knows when you send something to school that needs to be given to me, that way they know to take it out their pocket and give it to me. This is their responsibility to do every single day. Students then begin their journal and get ready to start their day. We also have a little morning work activity that they've been enjoying doing that reinforces some of the skills that we were learning in class that week. So now let's move into reading, which I personally think is the most important way to help your child be successful in first grade. This is how your child will gain fluency. Fluent readers is our absolute main goal in first grade. When your child leaves us at the end of this year, we do not want them to still be sounding out every single word in a story. Obviously, sounding out is a strategy that they use whenever there's a word they don't know, but our goal is to try to make sure they're not doing that for every single word in a story. A way to help them with their fluency is to make sure that they're practicing their sight words every night. Like I said earlier, this can be found in your child's sight word pocket in their binder. It is crucial that if you take these out, that you put them back into their binders, because in their binders is where the Ziploc bag stays. When we add words to this bag is when we learn new words in class, but we also use these words to do activities in class. So it is very important that that sight word bag stays in their binder. Your child should also be able to identify all of their kindergarten sight words that they should have learned last year. I sent home a list of the kindergarten sight words last week. Please make sure you practice those as well because those will be on all of our tests and in a lot of the stories that we read. Now let's move on to math. Each day your child will complete a problem set in class that shows their understanding of each day's lesson. I will start ripping out their problem sets that we work on in class and kind of go over. I will be sending these home in their keep at home pocket from now on. That way you guys can kind of just have a little bit of a reference to use when you're completing their math homework at home. For their math homework, your child's math homework workbook should be kept in their book sack at all times. That way we don't lose them. Please follow the newsletter to ensure the correct pages are completed each night. Please tear out the homework lesson that you do and return it to school in the homework pocket. I check homework each morning, so please make sure you are ripping it out and sticking it in that pocket. That way I can make sure your child is understanding what we're doing, and that way I can make sure that they're actually completing their homework. The most important homework that your child can actually have in first grade is reading. I cannot stress enough how important it is for your child to read at home every single night. Reading stories will be sent home often for your child to read. We've kind of been doing it every other night. These will also have comprehension questions that will be attached to it. These stories that we are sending home need to be completed and sent back to school the next day. These stories are considered on grade level text, which basically means your child should be able to read it independently. They shouldn't have to sound out every single word. If your child is struggling with reading these stories fluently, please keep the story at home and practice. Just send back the questions, keep the story at home, and have them practice reading that story over and over again. Fluency is built by practice, which is why I said reading is the most important homework that your child will have. Spelling words haven't started yet, but will start in a few months, and we'll cover phonics skills that we learn in class. Sometimes we will use morning work activities, and sometimes homework will also have spelling words on it. Please study these words with your child because we will start to have spelling tests as well that will average into a reading grade. Typically, homework will be given every day except for Friday. Sign paper folders will go home about every 2 weeks. Sometimes they might go home every week. It kind of just depends on what's going on with our schedule and how many tests we have going on and how fast I can get them graded. But whenever they do go home, please make sure to review the test papers with your child. If they miss certain problems, go over it. See what they could have done to make it correct. Talk about it. That is how they're going to learn and progress. I do it with them in class. It's important that you do it at home with them too. Sign the first page in the test paper folders and return all papers to school as soon as possible. The next day would be ideal. This is the grading scale that we use in first grade and you'll see throughout their school years. Each 9 weeks, 7 grades will be averaged together. Only reading and math will be graded until January. After January, social living and writing will also be graded. Newsletters go home every single Monday, so be sure to look for them in the front of your child's binder. Watch for important test dates, and they change weekly. Math homework assignments are also on there, and any other important information can be found on this newsletter, so it is important that you're looking at that every week. This is important. Please ensure that the keep at home pocket is empty each night. You can make it kind of like a job for them to do, because sometimes if they don't get emptied and it lasts for a few weeks, they can kind of get filled, and it kind of makes the binders a little bit messy. So please make sure you're emptying them each night. If you would like to help our class at any point, obviously we can have parent volunteers on campus, which we're so sad about, but hopefully that will change soon. If given the state of the world, maybe it'll ease up a little bit. But if you want to help out in any way, we always need candy, which is rewarded for good behavior daily. It needs to be individually wrapped, so if you do choose to send candy to school, just make sure it's individually wrapped, and we will use those to reward good behavior each day. Here's a few reminders. Please send earbuds and headphones to school for your child to use during computer time. We haven't gotten a chance to use our computers just yet. They just got delivered to us, so we'll hopefully get to use them soon. But we will not be sharing earbuds or computers, so it is very important that your child has their own. That way, whenever we do have computer time, they can plug in their headphones and be able to listen to their computer that way. Please send your child a water bottle to school because the water fountains are not available. They're not even turned on. So it is very crucial that your child has their own water bottle to use, especially with how hot it's been lately. If your child does not have a water bottle and they forget it that particular day, I do have cups that I let them fill up with water to drink. You may send a snack with your child to eat during recess. Recess is around 10:45 and lunch isn't until about 12:20. So it's very important that you send a snack because sometimes they do get hungry by this point of the day. So please send in a snack with them to snack on before they get to go play for recess to kind of hold them until lunch. Lastly, please do not hesitate to let me know if you have any questions or concerns. The best way to get in touch with me is either by email or Remind. If you haven't joined Remind yet, I will put the information on the next slide for you to join, but please do so because that is probably the quickest way to get in touch with me and will probably be the way I get back to you the fastest because it goes straight to my phone and it goes straight to my watch, so I'll be able to see it right away. But there's my email address as well as the school phone. So here is my Remind 101 information. I will also send this paper home. I had this attached in the parent packet that went home during prep day, but I will send another paper home just in case you might have misplaced it or in case you haven't joined just yet. So that is the information to how to join that particular messaging system. It is very important because I will send a lot of reminders throughout the year, just helpful tips and maybe some important messages of things that are coming up that you might need to be made aware of. That is how that will go out. And lastly, thank you so much for joining us for our virtual open house. I wish we could have done this in person, but we want to keep everyone safe. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other again really soon. I'm looking forward to a great school year. I've already enjoyed these first few weeks with your kids. They are such a great group and we're off to a great start. So please make sure if you have any questions or concerns, you let me know. But until then, thank you so much for tuning in and I hope you enjoy your evening.